Hey, Commanders fans! The team is constantly looking to improve, and with new ownership and a revamped front office under Adam Peters, Washington is making bold moves to build a championship contender. We've seen aggressive trades and signings this offseason, but could another big-time move be on the horizon? There's a star wide receiver with ties to the Commanders who might be available, and Washington could be in the perfect position to land him. But before we dive into the details, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for all the latest Commanders news. Now, let's get into it. The Washington Commanders could consider another high-profile trade as the San Francisco 49ers evaluate their options with star wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk. Under general manager Adam Peters, the Commanders have the resources and financial flexibility to add another offensive weapon. NBC Sports' Matt Mayako reported that 49ers GM John Lynch is keeping his options open regarding Aiyuk, saying, "You get calls and you always listen to calls." That means a trade isn't off the table, and the Commanders could be one of the teams calling. Aiyuk is due a guaranteed option bonus of $22.55 million on April Mo, and the 49ers are working to reduce their long-term cap obligations. With quarterback Brock Purdy's contract extension looming and other key players needing new deals, moving Aiyuk could be part of their financial strategy. For Washington, adding Aiyuk would give rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels another elite weapon alongside Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel. Imagine a receiving trio of McLaurin, Samuel, and Aiyuk. Daniels would have one of the best young supporting casts in the league. However, there's a major factor to consider: Aiyuk's health. He suffered a torn ACL and MCL in Week 7 against the Chiefs, which could impact his availability for the 2025 season. Would Washington be willing to take a risk on an injured star if the price is right? With the NFL annual meeting in Palm Beach, Florida, starting on March 30th, this could be a prime opportunity for trade talks to heat up. Adam Peters has already shown he's not afraid to make bold moves. Could another blockbuster deal be in the works before the April 1st deadline? It's something Commanders fans should watch closely. While trade rumors swirl, the Commanders are also locking in their draft strategy. With only 5 picks after a flurry of offseason moves, Adam Peters and his staff are under pressure to maximize their selections. Every pick matters, and Washington needs to ensure they find impact players who can contribute immediately. One name that has emerged is Louisville cornerback Quincy Riley. According to Tony Pauline of Sportskeeda, Washington has scheduled a 30 visit with Riley, meaning they have serious interest in the young prospect. The Carolina Panthers are also in the mix, but Riley's aggressive style of play could make him a great fit for Dan Quinn's defensive system in Washington. Riley is currently projected as a 4th-round pick, but his stock could rise with strong pre-draft workouts. He's explosive, instinctive, and has a knack for turning defensive opportunities into takeaways. He's also a fluid mover who can mirror routes effectively and contribute against the run. However, he may need to bulk up to handle the physicality of the NFL. The Commanders already have a solid cornerback group featuring Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Senristil, Noah Igbinoghene, and 2-time Super Bowl champion Jonathan Jones. But adding a young high-upside corner like Riley could help solidify Washington's secondary for years to come. Given that the NFC East features some of the most talented wide receivers in the league, shoring up the secondary is crucial for the Commanders' long-term success. Washington has been making some solid moves this offseason, but the draft is where things really start to take shape. In ESPN's latest mock draft, the Commanders land Texas A&M edge rusher Shamar Stewart, a player with freakish athletic ability who could become a game-changer on defense. Matt Miller from ESPN described Stewart as a high-upside prospect, writing, "Stewart has the traits to be great. He put on a show at the Combine after losing 14 pounds from the Senior Bowl, 281 to 267, running a 4.59 40, while leaping 40 inches in the vertical and 10 feet 11 inches in the broad jump. He has the length, speed, and power of an all-pro, but he must learn how to turn his traits into production. That's some elite-level athleticism." Stewart's physical gifts are off the charts, but some scouts are concerned about his actual production on the field. In 3 years at Texas A&M, he only recorded 4.5 sacks. So, Is he a hidden gem or just a workout warrior? First, let's be real. This is a mock draft, and mock drafts aren't always accurate. Miller took some creative liberties here, assuming Stewart would slide to Washington's spot. Given his rare combination of size, speed, and explosiveness, there's a good chance he doesn't make it that far down the board. However, if he does, it's hard to argue against the Commanders jumping at the opportunity. Washington's defense is in need of another pass rusher to complement its current front, and Stewart's upside makes him a tantalizing option. NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah also sees Stewart as a long, dynamic, and athletic edge rusher who has the potential to develop into a dominant force. He generates a lot of pressures, but struggles to finish in the passing game. That's why his low sack total is misleading. He still impacts the game, even without major sack production. Stewart has a very explosive first step and uses his long arm move to run offensive tackles back to the passer. He bends well at the top of his rush for such a big edge defender. That's encouraging news for Commanders fans. While he may not have racked up sacks in college, he consistently pressured opposing quarterbacks. And as we know, sacks don't always tell the whole story. A defender who can collapse the pocket and disrupt timing can be just as valuable. Jeremiah continued. Also, Stewart has an outstanding closing burst once he clears the tackle. He does need to add more moves to his arsenal, but I guarantee defensive line coaches are going to be lining up to work with him. Against the run, he can easily set the edge and has the speed to chase and make plays on the backside. The Commanders need an edge presence who can set the tone on defense. Right now, they have some talent up front, but adding a young, explosive pass rusher could take the unit to the next level. Plus, let's talk about matchups. The NFC East is loaded with offensive firepower. The Eagles now have Saquon Barkley. The Cowboys still have Tony Pollard. If Washington wants to slow down those rushing attacks and put pressure on guys like Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott, they need a guy who can set the edge and disrupt plays in the backfield. Shamar Stewart could be that guy. The only question is, will he be available when the Commanders are on the clock? As the draft approaches, the Commanders have some big decisions to make. Should they go all in on a trade for Brandon Aiyuk, or focus on developing young talent through the draft? Trading for Aiyuk would undoubtedly bring another explosive playmaker to Washington's offense, but it would also come at a cost, likely a high draft pick and a sizable financial commitment. On the other hand, building through the draft offers long-term stability and cap flexibility. With players like Quincy available in later rounds, the Commanders could still address key roster needs without giving up assets. Ultimately, this decision will shape the future of the franchise. If Washington can add another elite weapon, while continuing to strengthen their defense, they could emerge as legitimate Super Bowl contenders sooner than expected. We want to hear from you. Should the Commanders pull the trigger on an Aiyuk trade, or stick to their draft strategy and go after Quincy Riley? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for all the latest Commanders updates. We'll see you in the next one. HTTC.